All right, let's talk about renovations before you sell your home, because this is one of those topics where advice can get pretty loud and expensive and sometimes very wrong. Many sellers start with the same question, and that's usually, should we renovate before we list? And the honest answer to that is sometimes, but not for the reasons that most people think. So here's a mindset shift that should help you answer that question for yourselves in your specific scenario. And that is, when you renovate for yourself, you're trying to improve how you live in the home. When you're renovating to sell, you're trying to improve how the next person feels about it. And those are definitely not the same thing. A buyer might not necessarily be asking themselves, oh, would I love to cook in this kitchen for the next 10 years? Usually they're asking, does this home feel clean, cared for, and fairly priced compared to the others on the market? Now let's start with the stuff that usually matters, and that's the small repairs, the boring stuff. The leaky faucet, the loose handles, the doors that don't quite close right, scuffed walls, and burnt out lights. Things like that. None of these things feel that important on their own, but all together, they send a message. And buyers are usually very good at reading between the lines. If 5 little things are broken or not quite working right, they're assuming that there are 10 that they can't see. Not because they're cynical, but that's just human nature. So fixing all those minor issues isn't about impressing anybody, it's just about removing doubt. Think about it like this. Let's say you're meeting somebody for the first time and they show up with a wrinkly, coffee-stained shirt and one of their shoes is untied. First off, you're going to be distracted, and second off, even though they might be a great person, you're going to have formed an opinion. And the same thing goes with buyers when they're looking at homes. So now let's talk about updates, because this is where sellers often overshoot. Big renovations don't always mean higher value, but they do mean higher expectations. A brand new kitchen doesn't just need to look nice, it needs to make sense for the price point and the neighborhood and the home itself. Because if every other home around you has a simple, clean kitchen and yours suddenly looks like it came out of a magazine, their reaction might be, oh, so this is why the house is so expensive. The updates that a seller can make to a home before listing that tend to help the most are the ones that change a buyer's perception quickly. These are the kind of changes that help buyers mentally move in their head instead of stopping to think about renovation costs while they're touring the home. Because once a buyer starts doing math, the emotions drop, and emotions tend to drive offers. So now let's talk about inspections for a second. You don't always need to renovate for inspections, although I do have another video where I talk about pre-listing inspections and how to properly use them, but you should be aware of what generally comes up during an inspection. Old or visually damaged roofing, electrical issues that may look unsafe, plumbing leaks, or obvious moisture or ventilation problems. These aren't just cosmetic things, these are confidence killers. When inspection issues like this pop up, buyers don't often ask for repairs, they're going to ask for a reduction in price. Addressing these known issues ahead of time often costs less than negotiating them later under pressure. And now this is something that most sellers aren't going to like hearing, but not every dollar that you spend is one that you're going to get back. And getting your money back isn't always the goal. The main goal should be to reduce any friction. A $3,000 improvement that helps you sell faster is usually way more valuable than a $30,000 renovation that not all buyers are going to appreciate. What I like to call this is a return on effort. If a project is expensive, time-consuming, and highly personal, it usually doesn't belong on a pre-listing to-do list. And one last misconception that I want to talk about is that your home doesn't need to be perfect. You need it to feel honest, well-maintained, and easy to say yes to. That's it. So if you're wondering whether a renovation is worth it before you sell, ask yourself this one question. Is this renovation going to make a buyer more confident, or is it going to make me feel better as the owner? Both are valid feelings, but only one affects the sale. So here's the big takeaway, and that is focus on the repairs that will remove doubt, the updates that will improve first impressions, and improvements that are going to support your price and not fight it. Now, if you want a clear framework for all of this, I've put together a buyer's guide that you can get for free with the link in the description. And if you want to talk about your home one-on-one, there's another link in there where you can book a call with me, or we can set up a meeting and I'll gladly walk you through your specific home. Thank you for watching.